A question I often get asked, especially from younger people who are just starting out, is I'm really interested in crypto and building mining rigs, but how much money do I need to build my first rig? And the answer to that is probably not as much as you think. Now, yes, if you want to buy some pre-assembled mining rig with fancy RGB fans and top-of-the-line components where you just have to plug the cards in and go, then expect to be paying through the teeth for something like that. However, to me, I don't really consider that building your own mining rig. And for younger folks just starting out, or for someone who would like to just start crypto mining as a hobby, shelling out that kind of money is just not realistic. In fact, if you have any spare parts or old computers available to you, you may have much of what you already need to get started. This was my first mining rig. This is something I put together at home using a couple of items I bought off Amazon, mixed with things I already had around the house. I bought the cheapest build-it-yourself mining frame that they had, along with a set of PCI risers. Then, from an old desktop I had from years earlier, I pulled out the motherboard, CPU, heatsink, RAM, hard drive, SATA cable, and power switch. I didn't even take apart the CPU and heatsink since I didn't have any thermal compound at home at the time. I just dusted around it the best I could. However, the power supply the old desktop had wasn't going to cut it. Being a 350 watt that could only handle 286 watts sustained meant the power supply wouldn't be able to handle more than maybe one lower powered GPU. Even then, I could have at least gotten started with it, added one small GPU, and then worked on getting something better. Fortunately, I did have a 500 watt EVGA 80 plus power supply available from upgrading my gaming machine from a few months earlier. I added the two spare video cards I had from previous upgrades to my home machine, which were, I believe, a GTX 750 Ti and a GTX 1050. I installed NiceHash for Windows. I was up and mining. Over the course of the next few months, I ended up upgrading the power supply, and I added a hodgepodge of different GPUs that I had come across to the rig. If I had needed to, I certainly could have mined with what I had initially, then sold the crypto that was mined, and put the profits back into getting better equipment. Eventually, the motherboard died on that rig, and its parts were taken for use in other builds, but its sister rig is still mining away today, now 4 years later. Now, another great idea if you're just starting out and don't have much money is to literally just rip apart a large desktop machine and turn that into a beginner mining rig. For example, this Dell Studio XPS 7100 was used at my office for years until the hard drive eventually died. It used to have heat issues and was always kind of problematic, so instead of repairing it, they just got a new machine and this one went to sit on a shelf. So I took it and basically stripped it down to the bare frame. That means I got rid of the side panels, the molded plastic junk covering the front and top of the machine, DVD drive, and whatever else didn't seem necessary. That certainly took care of the heat issues. This being a formerly beefy-sized desktop machine, it had a fairly impressive 460 watt power supply. I grabbed a graphics card and plugged it straight into the motherboard. No mining rig frame or PCI riders needed. I flashed a copy of NiceHash OS onto a spare USB drive, and I was mining away. So these are two possible examples on how you can start building mining rigs for very little cost. If you're interested in mining, don't let the fear of not having enough resources or equipment hold you back. Just start with whatever you have and build from there. The key takeaway is just start. Now, if you do have experience with building mining rigs, what advice do you have for people who might just be starting out? Please feel free to leave a comment, and thanks so much for watching.